All right, hey, welcome back to the podcast. As you can tell, we're still zooming. We thought we were here meeting. We might as well crack open another blend and give you another review, just in the off chance that we have some more hiccups. So on this episode, we're covering Billy Bud Blonde. This our second episode focused on the Cornell and Diehl Melville at Sea series. Let's look at that blend real quick.
All right. What we have here is Cornell and Diehl's Billy Bud Blonde. This is our second review of the Melville at Sea series, the second entry. It is a blend of bright Virginia flake, white burley, chopped cigar leaf, and a touch of perique. Billy Bud Blonde is a sweet sequel to the blend originally created for C&D's late friend Sailorman Jack. All right. So what it is comprised of is, a touch of perique, some bright Virginia, and some burley. So here is the blend here, and as you can tell, that there's a little bit of perique poking out, a little bit of a darker leaf. But like they said, it's just a small portion of it. Everything else is, it looks predominantly burley. Now again, I don't have cigar leaf on hand to kind of compare that to, but there's some bigger chunks that I would venture to guess is cigar, like that chunk there. Um, Kind of like when we did the original Billy Bud, there was some uh, bigger chunks that poked through and looked like they could be cigar leaf, but it seems to be pretty well balanced between the bright Virginia and the burley. So let's get over there and see how it smokes.
So that was the blend. Similar um, to the original Billy Bud. I believe the only thing that they have done is they've just taken the Latakia away. I think I made a mistake in our Billy Bud review saying that they took the cigar leaf away and left the Latakia. That's not the case. They took the Latakia away and left the cigar leaf. So yeah, so it is um as far as I can tell, it's I guess the same as Billy Bud. They just took the Latakia away. So I'm guessing, of course, the proportions will change when you take a component out. But as far as I know, they basically made Billy Bud and they just didn't throw in the Latakia part. Um,
Hmm.
that's my interpretation of it. Um, so I know Zach's got a long kind of story to go on with Billy Bud Blonde. You've had quite an experience with it.
Yeah. So with Billy Bud Blonde, it is something I absolutely hate at the beginning.
Hmm.
It is bitter and obnoxious, and it lights well and it burns fine, but it does not taste great at all. It tastes like crap. And then halfway through your smoke, like a Sour Patch Kid, it turns into one of the most wonderful blends halfway through. And this is pretty much consistent over 20 bowls that I've had,
Oh wow.
which is annoying because you shouldn't expect it. I figured I would catch up eventually. This is the most rewarding blend. If you, it's like trudging through a desert and finding an oasis. You gotta walk and keep walking and keep powering through. The first time I smoked it, I was like, "Well, this sucks good," and I almost gave up, but I'm not. In other words, it was so consistently bad halfway through the bowl. I was like right on the verge of like, well, that's all I need to do for this. Bitter notes, tastes really sour, doesn't have a consistent flavor. Uh, Strong acrid, which probably has to do with what I would consider poor quality burley, and then it just burns off eventually. For whatever reason, the burley, the cigar leaf, everything melds together in the weirdest halftime victory ever. Like it's like everything gets rallied in the locker room, and then they come back out and just start smoking the opposition. It's crazy. Um, you wouldn't want me talking about Billy Bud Blonde at the beginning because it's just me getting annoyed about how bad it is. I'm halfway through this bowl again, and like I said, it's like a halftime show. You sort of forget that you're playing. The teams rally, and then boom, like
Yeah.
the smoke is excellent. It's sweet in a not artificial way, in a subtle way. That smoke plumes a lot more fuller halfway through. I think it's that burley sort of melding together with the cigar leaf, and I think some Virginia, and then
Yep.
that sweetness comes in, and it has a very pastry-like sweetness, but natural in a sense. It's not like an aromatic artificial sweetness, and that cake batter sort of flavor
Yeah.
just rolls over your palate and is very consistent through the rest of the bowl. But from what my experience is you have to earn that at the end, and you earn it by smoking it. It's almost like the only thing I could come to reason with is that there's a topping in this that makes it so acrid that once that topping burns off, everything melds afterwards. But you almost have to smoke half the bowl to smoke out the topping or casing or whatever it is because it doesn't make sense that it would burn away every time halfway through. Because the first time I smoked it way back, I was like, I can't believe this turned good. So then I was like, well, that's fine. I'll just prove this theory wrong and smoke another one. I was like, yep, there's that acrid I was talking about.
Yeah.
Smoked it, boom, back to that pastry sweetness. And I'm like, all right, that's the second time it's really blossomed halfway through the bowl. Did it again, did it again, did it again. The experiment kept working. So Billy Bud Blonde is one of the best blends I've ever smoked halfway through the bowl.
It,
And it's also one of the worst blends I've ever smoked at the beginning of the bowl. It's a really aggravating blend because it's the Sour Patch Kids of pipe tobacco, in my opinion.
it's kind of like sounds like it's like crab legs, right? You got to work for it. You got to go through the effort of
Yep.
cracking the things open and getting into that stuff. Um, that experience makes me kind of miss our more form audio only because I would have loved to um I would have loved kind of like a first impression recording of you the first time, you know,
Yeah.
just see that kind of transition. Um,
Yeah, because I would have been complaining the whole time.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, kind of like Golden Days of Yore, we're like, yeah, this is whatever, and then like halfway through, we're like, wait a minute, something's changing in this blend. Um, but yeah, I mean, my experience isn't anything like that. I the first time I lit it up, I was like, "Oh, this is okay," because I'm going in there, already kind of naturally you're comparing it to the original Billy Bud, which we liked for the most part. And I came in, I'm like, well, this doesn't really taste anything like it to me. And then like something on that first bowl, it's not as prevalent now, but something in that first bowl kind of gave me like a clove oil kind of vibe. Um, and and so like it got more and more the more like I retrohaled and just it started melding together and I was like I had an epiphany like this is because I remember when we did our review on Maltese Falcon we were like this misses the mark for what it's trying to be marketed as um it's still a fine blend, but it, they put some kind of ginger in it, ginger
Yep.
flavor, and
hmm
it should have been clove oil, and that would have given you more what you're going for. When you name something Maltese Falcon, and
Yeah, I think it just the clove oil itself gives me more of a noir
yeah,
mystery of the Orient, kind of like if you look at noir, if you look at um, a lot of latter 19th century, early 20th century fiction, which I know it's not technically noir, but like Sherlock Holmes and who's the one that you like?
oh, Hercule Poirot,
Perot. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, Perot. They have a lot of that, like, well, we're in Egypt. Well, we're in the Orient. Well, we're, in like on the Trans-Siberian, whatever. Um, Holmes has a lot of that kind of mystery of the Orient kind of stuff going on, um, where it's really just a Westerner kind of exploring, you know, a non-Western thing. I think that kind of plays into noir to me, and then that's why that clove oil tastes so deadgum good.
yeah. And so since, like I said, I still get it a little bit, but not as much as I did on that first smoke. But on that first smoke, I was like, this is what Maltese Falcon should have been. This is kind of in that realm. Um, because I would venture to guess how positive you are on the back end of the bowl. The back end of the bowl is better than Maltese Falcon to you, right?
Yes, but
Yeah,
but be careful because, and I have to be careful too. But this is one of the better blends you can have on the back side.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
also
That's
one of the worst on the front end. Like it's not, it is definitely rewarding if you hang out, and it is definitely punishing if you try it. So it's a
I'd love to pick. Is it Jeremy Reeves? Is
yeah.
that the? I'd love
hmm
about. Is there some kind of topping casing? I mean, we know they all have some kind of something, but is there something specific that they've put on this, and have they attempted to make this blend without that, or can they push to something that maybe it's a cigar leaf? I don't know. Can they identify maybe what's giving that flavor on the front end and axing that? Maybe making a whole new blend or something.
hmm
Uh, to give that because I mean if the back end of the bowl is that good, you would I would hope that you do everything you can to make that throughout the bowl, because you can't be the only one that sees a drastic difference between the first half and the second half. They have to know,
Well,
but I'm guessing that
I mean, I'm hoping I'm not the only one, but I mean, I can't. That's a weird. That's never really happened to me before.
yeah. I mean, I kind of get it. It's not so present for me. Like I do see, it to me it just gradually just gets better, through at the longer you smoke it. Um, but
I don't know. I don't know what that could be either. Like, is it like the smoke is doing something? As you're smoking, it's literally like almost on the fly, curing it or enhancing it.
it-
I don't know. It's weird.
but I mean, it's an enjoy for me. It's still pretty enjoyable from the first light. Like it's not nothing terrible, uh, but just for me. And but I would say it is a pretty good blend. I think I still like overall. I think I still like regular Billy Bud better. Um, but I like this one too. So
Wow. I definitely think this is more rewarding than Billy Bud.
yeah,
Billy Bud straight. I don't know. But blonde, I think it's by taking away the Latakia, you push the sugars of the Virginia forward and the burleys, the kind of sweetness and all the. I think there's Virginia in it. I got dadgummit. I forget. Like it's like my brain's slipping. But
no, there is. Oh
uh,
yeah, yeah. Right, there's just bright Virginia.
bright Virginia. Well, so it's got that lemony sweetness to it.
Yeah,
It tastes like lemon cake to me, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And one thing I don't remember. So this has white burley in it, which burley itself doesn't give you too much flavor. It's more smoke and mouthfeel. But I don't remember if it was white burley in original or not. And I don't remember if it was only bright in original. I should have brought both tins out here to kind of compare. Maybe I didn't show it. There it is, the old blonde.
Old
Um,
blonde.
People were effectively calling it the whale, and in respect to Brandon Fraser. Um, but white whale, white whale is what we was gonna call it.
I do think White Whale would have been a better title for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm the kind of person where it's like, if you're gonna call something one thing and then just drastically change it a little bit, then like you need to do that consistently. You know what I'm saying? Like all four blends should have been. It's kind of like Old Joe Krantz. Well, you got Old Joe Krantz and you got Old Joe Krantz blue and Old Joe Krantz red or white or whatever it is. Um, and it's kind of like if you have Bud and then Billy Bud blonde, then the next thing should have been Billy Bud brunette. And I'm kidding, but it's just you have four blends: John Marr, um, Billy Bud. Why did you just why did you just decide to call this Billy Bud blonde? I mean, I guess because essentially the same blend, but they took the Latakia away. But still, I mean, just
Mm.
the new name, you know?
I mean, it's the same way with the whole series is called Melville at Sea.
Yeah,
Um, I understand it, but you know, what sea? You know, I guess ain't no seas out here he's sailing on. Like, I mean, I guess I get it, but
yeah,
I can be a little like pedantic or a little bit of a jerk about your naming conventions. I can do that.
yeah. I
But
mean,
it. Don't get me wrong. Melville at Sea rolls off the tongue a lot better. Like instead of Melville in the Atlantic or something. But you
or
know,
call it the Herman Melville collection. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I think the name could have been a little bit better, chosen a little bit better. You get a
I,
lot with it when you watch
well,
more
this
videos.
is yeah. Well, that's unfortunate part of us is that we're gonna talk about tobacco and we're gonna chase rabbits. I guess
Yeah.
a little bit. We're trying not to complain too much. That's no fun.
No, but you get. I mean, I can't say anything for other review people, YouTubers, but um, I mean, you're gonna get you're gonna get the meat of the conversation, which is how the tobacco is. But we'll talk about the availability of it, the cost of it, the naming
Well,
convention.
that's the good thing about it. Low cost, always available, but you got to work for it. You
Yeah.
know, is it worth it? Yeah, right. But
Oh, yeah.
it's weird how much you have to work to get one of the better blends. I wish it was just consistent throughout. Honestly, if it's the casing and it's burning off fast and making everything work, then just forego the casing.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It's like, could you know could they just? But I don't know what everybody else's opinion of this blend is. I don't know if they like that or So
Well, they
could
ain't discontinued it, so it must be relatively popular.
I mean it'd be awesome if we could like just request it, be like, hey, look, Jeremy, look, just whatever batch of Billy Bud Blonde that you're making next, just save a couple tins. Don't case it. Just don't case it. Send it to us. We'll pay the cost of normal Billy Bud Blonde, and just send it to us uncased, untopped, and let us see if that's what it is. That'd be a nice thing. Maybe we'll write a letter, an email.
Wow.
That'd be
I wish
something.
I wish we could get our own blend. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. It'd be crazy if they sent us one and it says Billy Bud Blonde PipeCast edition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it, the problem with any of that is like I couldn't. justifiably review it. I'd just be like, we're smoking our PipeCast blend, and we're not going to tell you anything about it because if we like it, it feels like we're selling out a little bit. you know?
At least what we could at least do is just say whether or not the first part of the bolus is bad. I guess is what I guess you could maybe and not feel like you're selling out. I mean, because it would all be educational, right, or experimental, trying to see is that what makes the first half of this atrocious. Um,
Well, the thing is like we're not like looking for money. So if someone were to use our name to put us on a blend, boy, this has nothing to do with Billy Bud Blonde, but like Triple B. But I mean, um, we wouldn't be interested in money, but
no,
we would be interested in talking about it. But the problem with talking about it is if it ain't working. In other words, they didn't ask us to go through the blend and talk about it, work with them, and then get it working right,
yeah,
and it didn't taste good. I'd be inclined to trash it.
yeah, yeah. It would just be funny if it was in like a normal Billy Bud Blonde thing, and then it just had like some masking tape over it, and it just in
It's a
Sharpie.
PipeCast edition.
So, um, so yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you're willing to work for it, give Billy Bud Blonde. Um, you might find it very rewarding.
hmm
So,
I
I, I,
think I think definitely it in from what I've smoked, this is the most rewarding blend if you'll stick with it ever. And the reason why it's so rewarding is because, in my opinion, it does a total heel turn halfway through the bowl.
it's it's like opposite for me with early morning pipe. It's like you smoke it for those first 4, 5, 6 puffs, and then you just throw the rest of it away. Um, Whereas this is the opposite. It's like you want to get through those first, the first half, and then get to that good stuff. Um, so so yeah, but yeah, we hope that you enjoyed the video. We hope you go out and try Billy Bud Blonde. If you've had it in the past, leave us a comment down below. Let us know how you feel about it. We love, whether you agree with us or not. We want to hear your opinions. I know we were pretty hard on standard, but there were several people who commented and said, I like standard, and it's like, hey, that's good. I mean, we want to hear that. I mean, you know, sometimes we're the outliers, uh,
hmm
and
I
we'll,
mean, like if you like it, smoke it.
yeah,
You shouldn't feel any judgment. I mean, it's the same way with you have people who are hunting uh, that gold, those esoterica blends or something like that, and um, I don't feel like that makes you any more or any less or any inexperienced with pipe tobacco if you smoked esoterica or you haven't. Um, their Cornell and Diehl blends or them as a blending house, the things that they blend, Pease's blends that isn't really a Reeves blend, but someone else has blended it that
yeah,
um, that take the cake that really put esoterica up against the ropes.
yeah,
But
yeah,
and I'm going to judge esoterica so much more harshly because it's not something I can just get a hold of.
no. Um, so I mean, like you said in the past, it's kind of like, you know, well, I guess like you said, since they're on the Isle of Jersey, there's a little bit harder with the import export things, but it shouldn't make that much of a difference. Um, Especially when Samuel Galwith is still, sometimes it can be hard to get, but at least it's more rewarding than Esoterica.
Yeah, a rare doesn't rare is not quality to
No,
me. Um, because you could stick with um, one blending house, Cornell and Diehl. I'm just adjusting here. Cornell and Diehl or Dan Tobacco in this case, or no, this is a Cornell and Diehl. Sorry, or something like Dan Tobacco or something like that, and just the one blending house, and you'd be fine. Um, but I
because
don't
there's
think it makes you any less experience is what I'm getting at.
gonna get highs and lows with any blending house, I think. So you
Yeah,
just
I mean,
gotta,
because I think the Ken Byron Ventures.
Yeah.
He usually knocks it out of the park, and he hasn't knocked it out of the park every single time.
Mm-mm. Yeah, nobody's perfect.
But no one's perfect. But and I love almost everything he produces. Had a couple of misses, but nothing too crazy that I couldn't just go ahead and say, yeah, just go buy something from Ken Byron. I could seriously say, go buy something from Ken Byron's, and I bet you 80% of the time you're gonna love it.
Yeah, and I've said this in the past. See, I wish there was a blending house that maybe didn't knock it out of the park every time, but it gave you an honest impression on what that type of blend is. You know, like I said, I think McBaron's pretty close. If you go with their HH lineup, you can if you get their Burley Flake, if you get their uh, Virginia Flake, Pure Virginia, if you get their Latakia Flake, you're uh, you're gonna get a good representation of what an English is, a straight Virginia is, a Burley is. Are they the best? But they're not bad either. Um, but I wish there was a blending house that only did that, right? Like maybe we need to do that, Zach. Maybe we need to call it the Standard Tobacco Company or something like that. And and I mean that's putting a lot of pressure just to make it standard, but just to make them worth anything. But it'd be great if there was something like that. Um, because most blends they have some decent blends, they have some really good blends, and then they have blends that just aren't any count at all.
That's
That's like
right.
every blending house is that way. There, again, there's exceptions like Ken Byron is like mostly amazing. That's kind of a rarity. Samuel Galwith, 50% is decent. Maybe more than 50%. And then all the others are kind of just somewhere somewhere in that thing. But yeah, back to Billy Budd Blonde. Yeah, I think I'd recommend it for sure to give it a go. Um, and just like I said, if you've had it in the past, let us know. If you plan to try it, try it, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully, the next video you see, we will be in person, and it won't be like this. But if this turns out really well, like I said, we may try to bring in some guests and do some guest fillers, to try to you know interact more with the other YouTube community, pipe community.
Yeah, and if you're a part of the YouTube pipe community, YTPC, and you'd like to do a filler, we'll send you the tobacco. Just reach out to us, send us a message, and we'll set it up. All you need. We're using Skype, so you can download Skype. We can make it work.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And um, and even I mean, you have a blend in mind, and you want to reach out to us, just let us know. Sure.
Yeah, like you can pick.
Yeah. Um, we have like a schedule, but that schedule can be changed. It's nothing set in stone. So just just let us know. But other than that, I guess we'll wrap this one up, and we hope you had a I hope you enjoyed the video, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Oh yeah.
See y'all.
See ya.